Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Monday morning chair yoga. It is a stormy day today, so there have been winds of 168 miles an hour recorded at the Glencoe mountain station overnight, and there are trees down across the whole of Scotland. So with that in mind, it's often best when it's windy not to try to have too much stillness because it sort of conflicts with the natural environment, but to find a sense of calm and grounded support and stability with dynamic movement. We're going to start today with a simple sitting to find our center, and then we will move from there. So sitting tall towards the edge of your seat, just making sure that you feel like you can organize your spine upwards, maybe retracting your chin so it sits above the rest of the body, doesn't sit too far forward. If you prefer to relax your arms down by your side, you can, or just resting them lightly on your lap. Here, closing your eyes or gazing gently downwards. Take a moment to step away from everything else that's going on around you, stepping into this time and space for yoga. And sometimes our lives can feel like the weather today, this sort of fluctuating sunshine and showers and gusty winds, things in a whirly-hurly burble all around us. Being able to find our centered space and our place of calm is a real skill. Take a moment to feel how you feel today. Perhaps there are areas that are a little bit more vocal, usually the ones with the aches and pains and stiffness. Taking note of those areas and working gently through the practice to take care of them, to make sure that we don't make them feel worse. Noticing at least one part of the body that feels peaceful, calm, and at ease. And by noticing that calm, do you feel it spreading through the body, touching other areas, increasing that sense of peacefulness? Perhaps you can feel it soften the forehead, the eyes, the jaw, the shoulders. Perhaps you feel it soften your breath and allow your breath to find a slightly slower, deeper rhythm. Focusing on your breath. As you exhale, gently draw your belly button towards your spine to press a little bit more air out of the lungs. And then with the belly soft, breathing into the sides of the body, the back and the chest. Breathing out slow and deep, engaging across the navel to exhale completely. Breathing into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Breathing out slow and deep, engaging to breathe out completely. And doing a few more of these deep breaths in your own time. Feel that breath in expand the whole of the chest and torso, fill you up with vitality and prana for our practice. So even when we're sitting in stillness but breathing this way, our body moves a tremendous amount. At the end of your next exhalation, just allowing your chin to draw to your chest, your breath to find its natural rhythm. Feel the length down the back of the neck, maybe across the shoulders. Smile to yourself. And when you're ready, raising your head and blinking your eyes open if that feels good. We can free the hands a moment to give the shoulders a little roll. And before we come up to standing, we are going to just do a little bit for the neck. So again, with that retracted chin position where the sides of the neck and the throat and the back of the neck are all long, as if you were a ballerina being pulled from the crown of the head towards the sky. Then from here, we're going to take the right ear to the right shoulder and just hang out for a moment. See if it feels okay. Come back to the center, that same retracted chin space, and then left ear to left shoulder. And we're just going from side to side a few times to ease out any tension, to begin to feel a little bit of movement. And as we move from side to side, try not to lift the opposite shoulder to follow you. Try to keep it down. Doesn't need to be super rigid though. This time, as your right ear comes to your right shoulder, hang out there if it feels comfortable. If not, keep moving side to side. But if it's comfortable here, we don't need to force the head over, just wherever it naturally goes to. We're just gently going to lift the chin and lower. Again, if it doesn't feel good to do that, just hang out or move in and out of the stretch. But if this feels good, nice and slow, lift and lower. And notice those connections as you move, the parts of the body connecting and supporting each other. Really nice to develop what's called interoception, our perception of how we feel and how we move. When you're ready, coming back to the center over to the side, and then coming back into the middle, between the two sides, just rolling the shoulders to release any tension that may have miraculously appeared. And then retracting your chin, finding that length again in the neck, left ear to left shoulder. Notice for a moment, is this right? Is it right to hang out here? If not, in and out. And if it is, try a gentle lift and lower. Just seeing how you go. Nice and slow, noticing the connections, the different parts of the body that support, the space that you feel. When you're ready, you can come back to a more neutral spot and then gently bring your head back to center. Roll the shoulders again a few times in each direction. Very good. Okay, so we're going to come up to standing quite shortly, but we want to just prepare the feet a little bit. So begin just by lifting the heels and then lifting the toes. So rocking backwards and forwards across the feet themselves. And you can feel that begin to switch on the muscles in the legs. And then maybe alternate toes and heels. That's a little bit harder to do, brain gym. So lifting the toes on one side, lifting the heel on the other. Very good. And then we're going to come to the center and just tap the toes. Oh, that really gets the front of my shins. And then tap the heels. Sorry if it's a bit thumpy on the sound there. And then we're going to start with the toes and feet together, and we're going to take heels out, toes out, heels out, toes out, and then come the other way. Toes in, heels in, toes in, heels in. Let's do it a few times. Scissoring the feet out, scissoring the feet in. It's a really nice way to wake up the hips. And just notice if you've got any tension or sensations that indicate you should work a bit more gently with that area. Or notice that you don't. That's all good too. Okay, so here in the center, we're just going to spread our toes out. And I'm just turning myself to the side so it's easier for you guys to see. So spreading the toes out, making sure the feet are underneath the knees. And we've got plenty of room for our buttocks on our chair. I might get rid of my little cushion here. So that we are going to sit to stand, but we're going to float first up and down a little bit. So firm in the belly, the feet very active, really holding onto the floor. We're going to reach the arms forward and just float the hips up and then gently release down again. So reaching the hands forward to float the hips up and gently down. And we want to develop that, really feeling strong in the legs. Maybe, if you can, also firming the belly muscles, reaching forward to float and sitting down. We've done 4. I think we're going to aim for 10. So 5 is fine, 4 is fine. Whatever suits you. If you wish to have a little rest, or if you wish to join us in the next practice, that's okay. Let's see if we can do 4 more for those who are practicing together. Very nice, nice and firm in the belly, finding your feet on the floor. 2 more, I think. Lovely. This time we're going to stand all the way up. So if you've been resting, join in again. So floating first, then pressing into the legs to stand all the way straight. Maybe allow your hips to come forward just a little. And if it's useful for you, you can raise your arms around the body and up. And then we'll go back down the way. So we're going to bring the arms down, we're going to reach the hands forward at the same time, bend the knees, lengthen the tailbone, lift the belly muscles, float the hips down onto the chair. And at the bottom of the movement here at the chair, we're going to lengthen the legs out and just give the knees a little wiggle in and out. So we'll do that again. Maybe we'll do that 4 times. So we're firm in the belly, firm in the feet, reaching forward to float, and then pressing into the legs to reach tall, the hips perhaps coming a little forward. They don't have to, but they might like to. Reaching the arms around the body and up, and then back down to the sides with the arms, reaching the hands forward. The bottom reaches backwards, the belly is lifted, the knees bend. We land gently on our seat, and then we can maybe sit a little bit further back to release the legs a little bit, give them a bit of a shake. 1 more time like that, and then the 4th time we'll stay up standing. So nice and firm in the belly, reaching forward, pressing through the legs to stand tall, reaching the arms up, maybe letting the hips come forward, a little squeeze of the buttocks. And then arms come down, reach the hands forward, bottom backwards, firm in the belly, gently sit down. This time we won't bother releasing our legs because we're getting used to it now. Firm in the belly, reaching forward, floating the buttocks, press through the legs, reaching the arms up over the head. And then here we're going to just let the hands come towards each other and bring the palms down at the center of the chest. And then here, give a little wriggle, a little roll, relax the arms down, maybe another little wriggle, a little roll. We can also shake out our legs a little bit if that feels good to you. So I'm going to put my chair a little bit to one side and make space so that I can do some Kati Chakrasana. So a little wide in the feet here, soft knees. So we don't want to have them super bent because we've done lots of bent knee action and our thighs are really fired up. So we don't want to tax them too much, but we don't want to lock the knees straight because it prevents the pelvis from moving around. So a little soft in the knees, lift in the belly, that retracted chin position that we've practiced, and then a gentle twist from side to side. If it's comfortable here, you can just allow your shoulders to relax, the arms to wrap the body and tap the body wherever they fall. You might notice that with the knees a little soft, you've got active buttocks, active thigh muscles, a little lift in the belly. And if you can, begin to resist the movement of twist by keeping your hips facing the front and just allowing the upper body to move. And it makes it harder to keep the shoulders nice and soft and the arms nice and soft. So doing the best that you can. You don't have to be super rigid in the hips. It's just that sense of resistance. So you're really waking up the muscles down the sides of the torso. And for lots of people, they don't get used very much. So this is a nice thing to do. Add it to your daily practice. And then when you're ready, you can really let the hips follow by pivoting on the toes if that feels comfortable to you. Feels so much looser, doesn't it? So much freer when we move the whole body. We don't resist the movement. And it's a little bit like the weather today, isn't it? If you just let go and go with the wind, sometimes it's easier than if you try and stand against the wind. If you wish to, you can add a little soft bend in the knees. So a dip and twist, a dip and twist. Touching the opposite shoulder in front of you and opposite hip behind, really beginning to waken up those low legs, the whole of the body actually, but particularly in the low body. And then we're going to turn this movement into a little bit of a backwards movement. So here we're going to reach the arms to one side and the opposite leg away from us. So from the side, it'll look like you just step the foot slightly back every time. Still got that bounce in the knees. And we don't have to worry too much about exact form here. We're just finding our way. So a little bit of side stretching across the body. We still want to have that sense of lift in the center of the body if possible. And for those who would like the additional challenge, you can lift that back foot off the floor, but that is up to you. So you don't have to do that. If you can, let your weight settle in your heels as you bend your knees. Just a gentle side to side. And by now, hopefully you're beginning to feel a bit warmer. And then we're going to begin to make this movement a little bit slower, a little bit smaller, until we're back to standing steady. And we'll just finish with a touch of Kati Chakrasana again. So a little gentle sway until your feet find steadiness and your body can begin to find its way back to center. When you come back to center after all of that movement, stand tall. Allow your weight to drop into your feet, into your fingertips, and lift into the crown of the head. Close your eyes or gaze gently downwards. Make a note of, again, how in this position of stillness, there's still an incredible amount of movement in the body, in your heart rate, your circulatory system, in your breath. Maybe in that feeling of vibration or energy or fluctuation, whatever it might be. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. And we're going to allow our low bodies a little bit of rest while we move some of the upper body. So just rolling in your shoulders. Oh, that feels really good, doesn't it? And we're rolling mostly backwards, but we're going to do both directions today and the opposite way. Super stuff. And then we're going to just shrug a few times to release any tension. You can do this more slowly, shrug up and then drop down, shrug up and drop down, or you can do it a little quicker if you prefer, whatever works for you. Once we've done that, we'll take our fingertips onto our shoulders. Sorry, it feels like I'm preparing for like birthing a cow or something, but fingertips onto shoulders, and we'll begin making some circles with our elbows. So we don't need to make the biggest circles to begin with, we're building towards it. So we're easing this movement into the body so that our bodies can respond by making some space. And then as you move, you might get a bit more space. And maybe you can start to bring your elbows towards each other in front of your body. Perhaps the elbows even come behind the body slightly. Very nice. And it's okay to use your neck as well here. You might benefit from a gentle lift of the chin, a lower of the chin, just as we move in this direction. Oh, feels so good. I don't want to reverse, but we're going to. So when you're ready, going the opposite way, start small, start nice and small, and see how it feels differently in this direction. So we're not just gate crashing the body. We're not changing really quickly from one thing to another. We're building into this new movement. And again, you might begin to bring the elbows towards each other in front of the body, elbows behind each other, perhaps with that movement of the chin or the neck, the chest can open a little bit more. Perhaps you've got some extra lift across the belly to support. Let's do one more this way. And then just allowing the arms to rest down to the sides again. Taking a couple of deep breaths and seeing if you've just got a little bit more room to breathe into your chest. Hopefully the answer is yes. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. And then keeping the body in this position, we're going to again soften the knees, although hopefully they've been mostly soft in this practice. And then we're going to do a little bit of sideways action. So start by just lengthening one arm down and the other a little bit up. So we're just floating ourselves from side to side. We don't need to do massive reaching to begin with. We're trying to find that sideways bend. So here, a good thing to avoid is bending forward and sticking your bottom out. So we want to stay upright and make that sideways action. And it helps to keep your chest open, to keep the belly muscles moving inwards and upwards, just a touch. And once you've done a bit of sideways action like this, you might want to begin to reach a bit further. That's the postman at our door, so bear with me, I'll be 2 ticks. Keep going side to side. Apologise, Andy's away at the moment, so it's just me. And it's a miserable day to be out delivering the mail. Next time you've got your arm up, bring the other one to meet it, and we're just going to reach up and then allow the arms to fall down to the side. Maybe give them a little bit of a swing backwards and forwards. Maybe there's a little soft bounce in the knees as well. And then when you're ready, you can come back to steadiness and stillness in the middle, rolling the shoulders a little if you need to. I missed out on all of that side body action, but I hope that you enjoyed it. Okay, so let's come to the hips. We've done some things for the hips, but let's come to the hips again. We're going to soften the knees and we're going to gently ease the hips from side to side. So we've done that side body action. We've opened up the sides of the body, which means this should feel quite nice. And then when we come to the center, we can go backwards and forwards. Again, firming the buttocks, firming the belly. Our sit to stand began preparation for this movement of the body, so it should feel quite nice. And then when we come to the center, we can, with the knees soft, begin a little bit of circling of the hips. And here, let's allow the rest of the body to go with that circle. So as much as feels comfortable for you, you can even allow the head to become part of the movement. So you look up as the hips come forward and you open the chest, and you look down as the hips come back, and maybe lift in the belly just a little bit there. Let's go the opposite way as well. Super stuff. A little touch of firmness across the buttocks as you open your chest, just to find that support, that stability in the center of the body. When you're ready, you can come back to the center, standing tall, roll anything that needs rolling. Fabulous. We'll do that one more time, but keeping the body nice and still. So here we're not going to bother doing the 4 corners. We're just going to soften the knees, upper body nice and still. Sometimes it helps to hold your arms out to the sides and making your hip circles. Doesn't matter what these hip circles look like. They can be as small and subtle as feels good to you in this moment. Perhaps you can feel the ankles and knees and feet all supportive, and the muscles that support them. And we'll go the opposite way as well, just trying to keep the upper body, the chest, particularly the shoulders, not completely rigid, but a little bit still. Very good. Let's do one more in this direction. And then we'll come to center, float the arms down. They've had quite a lot of action, so Hopefully you're beginning to feel the effort there as well. Excuse me. So let's come to use our chairs a little bit. We've prepared all sorts of parts of the body, and today we're going to do a little bit of movement. We're going to use one block actually. I didn't mention this at the beginning. I am so sorry, but we are going to use one block, and we're going to use our chairs, and we'll see how we get on with this. So if there's anything going on in your body, that particularly around the hips, you might want to just ease into this, see if it suits you before going at your full pelt. So we have our block down on the left-hand side of the body. We're facing the chair, and we are going to lift the left knee in front. So we want to find the right foot and hip really nice and supportive. Lift the left knee in front, and we're going to step our foot over that block and touch down, and then lift up, bring the foot back to center and touch down. So from the front, I have the block slightly outside my foot, lift up, over and touch down, lift up, in and touch down. Okay, so we're just going to do, that's 2, let's do 3 more of those. So lifting left knee up, over, touch the foot down, up, in, touch the foot down. Nice and firm in the belly, and keeping the chest lifted as much as possible. Last one, up, out and down, up, in and down. And then here, either holding on or not, just doing a little march in place. Very good. And you'll notice that sometimes it's the standing leg that feels like it's done all the work. And that's because it is stabilizing for the movement happening on the opposite side of the body. Nice little trick there. So we're going to do a little down dog in between, hands onto the chair and walking the feet away, nice and wide in the feet, soft in the knees so you can really extend the tailbone behind you. You can start by wiggling your hips from side to side if it feels good. You can keep your head above or in between the arms, try not to let it come down too low. And then if it feels good, you can lengthen one leg a little and then the other. You don't have to get it straight, just aiming in the direction of finding a little bit of length down one side of the body and then the other. And then whenever you're ready, you can look towards the chair, walk your feet in, and we're standing tall again. Now that block, I'm just going to pop it to the other side. I'm not using it on the other side yet. I just want it slightly out of the way, but that's where it's going to be used. And then as we stand tall here, we're going to take that same left foot behind us on the floor, and we're going to do a little lift here. So we want to stay really upright, firm in the belly. We're going to tap the toe to the floor 5 times. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to put the heel down and bend the front knee. Okay, so we're going to do this several times. So we're going to transfer our weight into the right foot, lengthen the front knee, the back heel comes off the floor, nice and firm and upright in the body, tapping 1, 2, 3, 4, left heel down, right knee bends. And you can ease into that front knee a little bit if you like. Don't have to, but you can. And then transferring the weight forward. We're going to stand tall, tap 3 times again. Left foot taps, 2, 3, 4, and then bend the front knee, press the left heel to the floor. Here, in our bent knee position, we're going to hold onto the chair with our right hand, lift the left arm up and draw a nice big circle around the body. And we'll do that 3 times as well. So that's 1, let's do 2, and let's do 1 more. Very good. Then we're going to swap hands, left hand to the chair, right hand draws the circle. So you might want to slightly angle your hips if it feels comfortable, pressing into that back heel, front knee bent, 1 circle with the right arm, 2 circles, nice and firm in the belly, 3 circles, and then turning to the front. We're going to bend both knees a little, nice and buoyant, step forward with the left foot and march in place. Very nice. Okay, so we're doing our hip knee up and over on the right side. So placing your block where it's useful, in front of the body. Oh, sorry, slightly to the side of the right foot. Standing tall, and then we're going to lift the right knee up, move it out over the block and down, and then lift the knee up, move it in and touch down in center. Right knee up and out and down, knee up and in, foot down. Nice and firm in the belly. This is our number 3, and we're going to do 2 more. Lift up and out and down, up and in and down. Last one, up and out and down, up and in and down. Very good. And then we're going to take our downward facing dog. So just lengthening the feet behind you, soften the knees, lengthening the tailbone, maybe here giving yourself a little wiggle of the hips. Maybe it's useful to lengthen one leg and then the other. You might like to look under one arm and then the other. Whatever feels good in this moment. When you're ready, you can look towards your seat, walk your body in to the chair, adjust your block, put it to one side if it's still there. And we want to stand tall. We're still working with our right leg. So we're taking the right leg back so the toes are on the floor. We've got that sense of lift, drawing the shoulder blades together, broadening the chest, feeling that lift in the belly. And we're just tapping the right foot 5 times. Tapping that toe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we take the right heel to the floor, bending the left knee. And just hang out for a moment. Perhaps you want to give your hips a little wiggle this way as well. Could be good. And we're transferring our weight back onto the left foot and the right foot, toes on the floor, firm in the belly, tapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Heel to the mat, bending that front leg. Just seeing sometimes a little wiggle of the hips from side to side can be nice as well in the lunge. One more time, transferring your weight onto the left leg, long right leg, firm in the belly, tapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we take that right heel down, bend the front knee. The first arm that we're going to do is the left side. So on the previous side, we started with the same arm as the leg. This time we're going to start with opposite. So we want to almost tuck the tailbone under, firm the belly, firm the buttocks, reach the left hand forward and around the body for 3 circles. That's number 1. Front knee is still bent. We're still pressing into both feet though. Both feet are active. That's our last circling with the left hand. And then the left hand will come to support on the chair. And then we will circle with the right hand. And just noticing what feels like the most natural thing or what feels like the most useful thing. I feel much more able to circle the same arm as the leg that's back, but circling the opposite arm feels better in the body. So then when you're ready, stepping forward onto both feet, giving a little march in place, maybe holding onto the chair, maybe not. And we'll take another downward facing dog. So feet walking away, pressing the hands into the seat, maybe widening the feet a little bit, nice and soft in the knees, a sway of the hips, if that feels good to you. What we really want to do here is be able to tip the tailbone up towards the ceiling, scooping the belly in, finding length underneath the arms, rather than straightening the legs, which is fine if it comes naturally, but it's that tailbone tipping that we really need. And the more you tip the tailbone with soft knees, the better the stretch is down the backs of the legs. When you're ready, softening the knees so that you can walk into upright. When you come to that upright position, just giving your shoulders a few rolls, maybe just wiggling anything that needs wiggling, which hopefully is not too many things, but also lots of things. Okay, so we've done this action with an upright position. I would like to try this also in a folded over position. So in downward facing dog. Sorry, I'm losing my t-shirt tucked in, but hopefully it won't make too much of a difference. So just watching for now. I'm going to bring myself back into downward dog. If you prefer to be lower down, you could even bring yourself down your chair back or reach for the chair seat if that feels good to you. I'm enjoying being a bit higher myself, and it means that I can come into a version of Warrior 3. So that would be the right foot on the floor underneath the body, nicely underneath the hip, soft in the knee. The left toes pointed backwards, and from here, if there's room, I can lift that leg up. I'm going to push myself a little bit forward. So we are going to really think about lengthening the arms and the space underneath the shoulders, softening that standing leg, lifting the left leg up, and we're going to touch it down and up and down. We'll try for 5 of these. So nice and firm in the belly. And feel the back of the body switching on as you lift and lower. It doesn't matter if you just keep the foot on the floor or if you just lift it up a little. This last time, with the leg up, we're going to bend the knee into the chest, rounding through the spine. And then inhale as you lengthen the leg out behind you, lift in the belly, and exhale, knee to chest. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, maybe look towards the seat. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, both feet on the floor. Here, just bend your knees, wiggle your hips, walk your body into the chair to take a rest, because it doesn't look like much, but it's quite hard work. So rolling anything that needs rolling, wiggling anything that needs wiggling. If you feel like you need a bit of a backwards and forwards stretch or a few hip circles, taking those as well. Last one to the last side, and I promise we're on a wind down after that. So hands onto the chair, walking your feet away so you come into that downward dog position. The feet are a little bit closer than we normally practice with. We want to find that open space underneath the arms, that tip of the tailbone, sliding the right toes back. You may wish to stay here, but firm in the belly. If you feel comfortable, you can lift and lower, lift and lower. That right leg, a little soft in the left leg, and lower, lift and lower. This time we're going to keep the leg lifted and then bend the knee into the chest, rounding through the spine, and then lengthen the leg, maybe look forward as well. Exhaling, knee into chest, inhaling, lengthening. Last one. Exhale, knee into chest. Inhale, lengthening, lower the leg down. Bring your feet together and step your feet a little bit further apart. Wiggle the hips from side to side. When you're ready, firm in the belly, walking towards your seat. Hard work. Rolling the shoulders. The sun has just come out, which changes the light balance in this room, but hopefully you don't mind on the video. Okay, so now we have done all of that big work with the back of the body and the shoulders. We need to give ourselves an opportunity to stretch the other way. So we're going to take the arms nice and wide, wrap the right arm, over the left, so we hug our shoulders. And here we want the elbows to rest onto the chest as much as feels comfortable, but the fingertips to inch their way towards each other around the sides of the body, if possible. For those who are comfortable here, just a few deep breaths. Across the upper back, feeling that space between the fingertips expanding as you breathe in, softening as you breathe out. Very nice. Sometimes it's useful to lift and lower the elbows. In this position, we can lift and lower the chin as well as we do that. But if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. For those who are comfortable and familiar with Garudasana Eagle pose arms, you can bring the backs of the hands or the palms of the hands towards each other. And here we're just, again, getting that sense of maybe a little lift and lower in the elbows. Really, the muscles that support the shoulders are called the sits muscles, because nobody can remember the name of all of those muscles. So it's S-I-T-S. And I used to know them, but I don't. Anyway, but this allows all of those muscles to find a bit of length. When you're ready, you can release the hands to the tops of the shoulders, all the way down across the body to stand open and tall. Allow your shoulders to wriggle a few times. Notice how that feels in the body. Sometimes you'll feel much looser in the neck as a result, because often if we have too much tension in one place, we create tension in other places as well. When you're ready, we do the same thing to the other side, this time crossing left over right and hugging the shoulders as much as feels comfortable, really allowing the elbows to be heavy onto the body. Lots of deep breaths here. It feels slightly different on this side, perhaps. Sometimes it's nice to sigh out and let go of whatever's been on your mind, on your chest, on your shoulders. Maybe a gentle lift and lower of the chin and the elbows at the same time. For those of you who are comfortable, you might bring the backs of the hands or the palms of the hands towards each other. Doesn't matter where you get to, and it's okay to still do this with hands on the shoulders. For again, a lift and lower. And allowing your neck to move as your shoulders and elbows move means that you don't create rigidity or tension there. Very nice. When you're ready, you can release the hands to the top of the shoulders, let them come down the body and around the body, just giving yourself a little wiggle. Gosh, that sun is really bright now. It feels so fantastic at the end of your practice when you get kissed by the sunlight in this way. So we're just loosening off. If you feel like you need to loosen off in the hips as well, sometimes a little seated cat-cow can work. So if we come to sitting back on our chair and have close by the things that you need for relaxation. So I'm going to use a little cushion under my buttocks and a little blanket on the seat as well. And so we can do a seated cat-cow here. So here we would have our buttocks towards the front of the seat, but not perhaps all the way at the front, hands on the knees. And we can roll the shoulder blades towards each other to open the chest. The hands slide back towards the tops of the thighs, and then slide the hands away, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. And from the side, it looks a little bit like this. Sliding the hands back to open the chest, and sliding the hands away to round through the spine, chin to chest. Scooping the belly in all of the time. Find your breath, maybe breathe in, maybe your elbows bend to open your chest a little bit more. Maybe round, reach the fingertips just below the knees if it's comfortable. Maybe one more. Very good. And then come to an upright position. And we are going to practice a little spinal twist before our relaxation. So here you can keep your knees together and your feet together, or you might like to cross the left leg over the right leg, as you choose. Whichever of these is fine. Sitting really tall, we're going to take the right hand to the opposite outside of the left thigh and the left hand behind us to hold on to the chair wherever is comfortable. Here we want to draw the shoulder blades towards each other, find length in the back of the neck, just as we did for our neck exercises at the beginning of the class, and then squeezing the thighs together, lifting in the belly muscles, we just gently turn to that left side. Here the elbows are soft, which allows the shoulders to come down, broadening the chest. The head can turn to wherever is comfortable or can stay more neutral if that suits you better. Don't force the body. Take a deep breath in. Soften the eyelids closed if it feels comfortable to do so. Maybe one more deep breath and sigh out through your mouth. Turning to the front with just your head, then freeing the arms to unwind your spine, turn a little to the opposite side and back to center. But uncrossing the legs if they have been crossed, and crossing the same on the other side if they were crossed. If not, just pressing the thighs together. Sitting really tall, taking your left arm across the body to the outside of the right thigh, taking the right arm around to the right behind you, holding onto your chair, perhaps the back or the seat. Roll your shoulder blades towards each other, broaden your chest, press the thighs together, press your left foot particularly into the floor, and then firm in your belly, just turning your shoulders to that right side. A few deep breaths here, creating that length down the back of the neck. Gentle lift with the belly, maybe a deep breath in and sighing out. When you're ready, gently unwind your spine, head first, then hands, turning a touch to the opposite side, uncrossing your legs as you turn back to center. And now hopefully you feel deliciously released and ready for relaxation. So with that in mind, grab hold of anything that you need. I'm going to put a couple of blocks underneath my feet and use my lovely red blanket. And for relaxation, we want to sit back into the seat, or if you prefer, you can recline on a sofa or a bed, wherever is the most comfortable place for you. As you get yourself settled, just make sure that you feel comfortable. If you like, you can put your chair against a wall and lean your head slightly backwards, if that feels good. Relaxing in the shoulders, letting the hands sit wherever is comfortable in the lap. Closing your eyes. Bringing your body to stillness again. And again, noticing that that stillness in the body is always associated with that movement of the breath, the circulatory system. Even the messages of the central nervous system move from the brain to wherever they're going, the extremities, the digestive system, wherever it might be. When you're ready, you can take a deep breath in and sigh out through the mouth. And repeat 3 more times. A deep breath in, let all your effort go. A deep breath, let your muscles begin to relax. A deep breath and surrender your weight back and down. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm, falling into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead, feel it soften. That space around the eyes relaxing. Your mouth, tongue, and jaw releasing. Have a sense that the shoulders are softening, the chest and the back, letting go of any effort or tension. The arms are softening, the hands and fingers relaxing. The front and the back of the body, the torso, the abdomen, the low back. Releasing, relaxing. The hips, pelvis, buttocks softening. The legs getting heavier. The thighs and calves. Letting go. Relaxing down the feet. Heavy into the floor support. Grounding the body. but soft, as the weight is mostly taken by the chair. The whole body relaxing, softening, feeling that sense of connected down. And notice now there is even more stillness to the body. The breath is softer and quieter and slower, as is the circulation in the body. As the heart rate has come down, the blood pressure is lowered. Notice if this state of calm is also touching on your thoughts and nerve impulses. And when you're ready, you can turn your awareness to your breath and just gently deepen your breath. Notice the pauses between the breath in and the breath out, if a pause is present. These pauses sometimes are only at the bottom of the breath before you breathe in again, but they are moments of true stillness, where the breath isn't moving, the body is even more centered, even more quiet. So resting your awareness in these moments of pause in the breath. See if you can gently hold on to that moment of quiet a little longer, without strain, without breathlessness. Allow your face to soften, your shoulders to relax, and focus on those pauses in the breath. Gently begin to deepen your breath again. Feel that coolness of air coming in through the nose, the warmth of the breath as it leaves the body. When you feel ready, you can begin to bring your awareness to your hands and your feet, moving your fingers and toes, maybe rolling your wrists and your ankles. In your own time, take a deep breath in and stretch when you stretch the body in any way that feels good. Maybe stretching the legs and the arms, maybe the sides of the body if it feels good to you. Maybe the back of the body. When you're ready, you can bring your hands together at the center of the chest and just lift your chest a little and take your chin towards your chest. Take this moment just to give yourself the gratitude you deserve for carving out this time and this space for yoga, for dedicating this last hour to your well-being, to your health, to your calm. And then when you're ready, with a soft smile on the face, raising your head and opening your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice on this bizarrely changeable day. I hope you have managed to find that sense of inner calm that you can take with you for the rest of this windy week.